Hi everybody, it's party time. Christmas is upon us and I've got the handmade beer ready for the party tomorrow. What I don't have is something to open the bottles with. So I've got a few scraps of wood here, and I've also been online and I've ordered 4 bottle openers from Amazon. These came very quickly. Only cost me $7.99 for the pack of 4, so that's pretty good value. So we're going to make these. I'm not sure I'm going to get them all done for this episode, but if not, I'll release another episode. We'll maybe do 2 today and 2 in the next one. The wood I've chosen is, we've got some laburnum, a nice bit of pippy yew. This is eki, which is an incredibly hard, dense African wood. And this is boxwood, which is absolutely beautiful turning. This has got an incredible yellow colour. Right, what should we start with? I think we'll start with, definitely the box, and I think the yew. Right, let's get started. Okay, to start these off, I need to mount them in the jaws and start drilling in from this end, come back, a hole so we can get our thread into. Now, they recommend that you drill a 7mm hole, but my worm screw takes an 8mm thread, so I'm going to go in with an 8mm, and if I have to glue them at the end, then that's absolutely fine. It'll just make my life an awful lot easier if I can hold it on the worm screw once I've drilled the hole. Okay, I'm going to drill into this piece to start off with. The thread is only about 3 centimeters long, 1.25 inches, but I want to go in a lot further than that, just so I've got space in here to mess around with different ideas, whatever I need to do. Should do. That's one done. I should do the same to the next piece. Thank you. Ooh, smoking. Let that cool down a bit before I touch that. Right, because I'm using just the worm screw at this end, and it's obviously quite a long piece, I am going to start off with tailstock support at the other, just so we can get a good speed up and we're not running the risk of great vibrations or anything like that. Okay, we've got the boxwood set up. The only measurement we really have to worry about is the width of this finial part here. So I'm going to set my caliper to that width so we can check periodically, make sure we're not getting too small. Okay, just set it a little bit wider because I don't want it any smaller than that. Okay, I've got no real set idea how I want this to look. I do like the bark on this, so I may try and leave a little bit on it, but we'll see how it goes. I just started to put a couple of ripples in here for the hand to grab onto. Thumb on the bark. Yeah, it feels quite nice. I think I'll accentuate them a little bit. there with the skew. Just picked this one up the other day. It's the first time I've tried it, and it's going to need a little bit more practice. Right, I think I'll just go back to something I'm used to for a second. Okay, that's works an awful lot better. I do like this bark around here, so we're going to try and leave as much of that as we can. Now we need to whittle this down a little bit more so it can taper nicely into the bottle opener, and then finish off this side into a nice curve at the end. Let's have a better look at this back end. We've got a flat on there. I think I'll take it down to try and get rid of the bit of this flat, but I think as natural as you can keep it would be nice, because this front end's really lovely. Much better. Right, get this a little bit narrower. There we are now. Not far away, just a fraction more. I don't want to go too narrow because we need this nice and strong, because it's going to have to do a lot of levering. So a little bit more narrow, a little bit more narrow, a little bit narrower on this end. Round off that, tailstock away, sand up and finish. Take this away at the very last moment as we start sanding. I'll put a little curve on this side because that's where I'm going to part it off there, just so we've got a nice join. Right, I think I'll do the first bit of sanding without taking that little nub away. It's not going to take much because this boxwood is incredibly fine, dense wood, and it takes a cut absolutely beautifully. Okay, ready for a finish. First of all, we're going to use a shellac sealer on this. And spin this in to work it in. Beautiful. Right, I'll put a finish on top of that. I think I'm going to use a Hampshire sheen, so I want it nice and long lasting. But before I do that, I'm just going to take away this little knob. The Hampshire sheen, with it having a microcrystalline wax in it, will help the longevity of the shine. It's nice and hard wearing. Boxwood really is quite an incredible wood. The only drawback with boxwood is that you don't get big lumps of it. I counted the rings on another piece I have of this, and this kind of size is about 20 years growth. So it's a shame, but that's the way it is. Right, I'm going to part this off very, very carefully here at a slow speed, and then we'll marry it up to the top. And there we go. That was easy. Right, let's give a little bit of sand on here, and then we'll get them put together. Okay. There's the first one done. Right, let's get the next one. Alright, same as before, tail stuck in. I think we'll start off by getting this round. Let's go and sharpen up first. Okay, what should we do with this one? I think quite a, not a basic shape, but a classic, wider, narrowing, and then just slightly out at the end. I think that'll complement this beautiful grain. Let's get in there. A little bit more in here, a little bit wider there. Just lift this a little bit so we get slightly more control with the finer cuts. Get a little bit closer. Just flipped over the skew there just to make those, try and keep this a bit flatter and a bit straighter. Not overly easy with the gouge when you're trying to create a very high polished shine like this. It's a little bit dull. Let's put a little flute in there. There you go, that's broken up those lines a little bit. Right, sanding. We'll give it the same treatment as the last one. Shellac sealer. And then the Hampshire sheen. Just take some nub off the end. pips in there are just beautiful. Right, a bit of Hampshire sheen. We'll part it off and then we'll marry it up to the business end. Make that little curve on the end just to give us something to pass off in front of. I shall get this married up. There we go. Two nice, easy to do bottle openers. These are really quite fun projects because you can just let your creative juices go wild and create any kind of shape you can imagine. We've got a nice U, a pippy U, which is really quite gorgeous and sleek. And we've got the boxwood, which is nice and rustic. The boxwood feels fantastic in your hand. It's a really, really dense wood, incredibly tight grained, beautiful to turn. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. The second episode of this will be along soon, but I wanted to get this done so I can get the video out well before Christmas. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. And remember, if you leave a comment as well, then you're going to get into the giveaway when we get to 2,500 subscribers, which is approaching far faster than I would have imagined. We're well into the 2000s, so please get those comments in. And I'll see you very, very soon.